Everything about supply chain management industry in Canada. We will discuss in this video. Hi Arjun, first of all, thanks a lot for joining the call today.
Appreciate it, Sahil. It's my pleasure.
So a lot of my subscribers, they were, complaining me that I'm just focusing on the IT stuff. So I was looking someone from the supply chain industry because I was not able to find someone who is good enough to explain us all the concepts. And I'm glad that I reached out to you on LinkedIn and you accepted my invitation. Thanks a lot for that.
Again, as I said, I've seen a lot of your work, so it's my pleasure to be here.
And Arjun, before I ask you any question about the industry, please introduce yourself to the audience so that they can know about you.
Absolutely. Hey guys, first of all, welcome to this video. I'm very excited to talk to you all today. Again, I came as an international student. I'm actually basically from Bangalore, India. I have my Bachelor of Commerce. And after that, I started working in a bank for 1 year. Then moved to Canada in 2014, did my 2-year program, International Business Management and Supply Chain Management, graduated from Seneca in 2016. And it's been 5 years. I've been working in the supply chain industry from past 5 years, worked with companies like Walmart, and I'm currently working for their competitor called Sobeys as a demand planner. And it's been a quite exciting journey. And yeah, things are happening really good. I got my permanent residency as well a couple of years back. And really looking forward for all the growth in Canada.
And Arjun, we hear a lot about the supply chain management industry, but I'm not from this industry. So basically I'm from the software industry, but I don't know what exactly is this industry. So can you please tell us all, like, what exactly can we expect from the person who is working in this industry?
Absolutely, Sahil. In fact, it's a great question. I'll actually tell you why I got started in supply chain management. I graduated from international business management, and supply chain management was one of the programs which was available in the colleges, which seemed to be a little bit promising based on my like seniors or my professors and whatnot. And I just randomly took it because I really did not have enthusiasm towards HR or accounting or even finance. I felt supply chain seemed a little bit profound, and I took it. And I really did not know how my career is going to be until I graduated from the program. I knew that there are jobs, but I came out, and once I came out of the program, I really understood what I got signed up into, what is supply chain management. So to answer your question, if somebody who do not have any understanding towards supply chain, they have heard supply chain management, but they're curious to know, and internet have so much of definitions to it, I will simplify it. I'll simplify it and kind of give you a bite-sized information. 5-6 years back, 7 years back, 8 years back, there was no term or an organization within a company called supply chain. There's no department called supply chain management. Even the colleges were not teaching supply chain management. They were teaching separately transportation or logistics and whatnot. But they, as a whole, nobody were teaching supply chain management, or no organization recognized supply chain management as a team within the organization. But later on, companies have become more centralized and understood that we have to work in teams like finance and marketing and inventory management, purchasing, and all of these things. So then they understood that we need a team which can tie up everybody in this, like finance, marketing, merchandising, inventory, logistics, and make them as a supply chain management, which will drive all of these departments together. And that's when they started recognizing, and that's when the supply chain departments came into the field. And then the colleges recognized that the companies need supply chain professionals who will be analytical, who will drive revenue to the company, and started supply chain programs. To answer your question, what is supply chain management? It's pretty simple. The product manufacturers at a manufacturing unit, and it delivers to the end customer. To streamline this whole process and make sure that there is no interruption in this process, the team supply chain management comes into the picture and creates a complete smooth supply chain. So that way the end customer gets the product on time, with the right quality, with the right price, with the right value. So that way it creates a win-win situation for whole company and the consumer as well.
That's great answer, Arjun. And as you have explained, like as a supply chain professional, like you have to talk with someone from inventory team, someone from the shipping team, and like different types of departments. So what exactly are the different profiles that comes under supply chain management, and what's their day-to-day like?
It's a great question. Again, Sahil, supply chain is always evolving. Initially, frankly speaking, some of the supply chain departments were actually under finance, right? They were the supply chain manager is reporting to the finance manager because the finance manager is paying supply chain manager. So right now there is good structure. Like talk about purchasing. The purchasing department is the one which makes the decision of what to buy, right? And then there is inventory management department which manages the flow of the inventory, how much inventory we need, where we need, and whatnot. And then there is logistics which stores the inventory, secures the inventory, takes care of the inventory, and there is transportation which delivers the product to the customer. So purchasing, inventory management, and the logistics and the transportation are major segments within that supply chain category.
And Arjun, I have seen that most of the students who have pursued the commerce degrees in their bachelor's or in India, they pursue this career, like these degrees in supply chain management. So, is there any specific background that this industry demands, or like it's open to everyone?
That's a great question again, Sahil. I'll just give you one example. I'm married. My wife is also in Canada here, and she has masters in biochemistry. Can you imagine? She put in like 7 years of time in studying science and theses and research and whatnot. Coming to Canada here, most of the Indian educations and the credentials might not be really valued. They actually look for a lot of certifications within Canada, but she switched into supply chain. And in fact, she don't have any education background. With very minimal learning here in Canada, she was able to get a supply chain job, and she's currently working as a supply chain professor for a community college here in Trios. Within 3 to 4 years, she was able to get a job as a supply chain professor.
That's
So
amazing.
that alone gives you just that it is a very welcoming industry. There is no particular background required. Obviously, if somebody has done a business degree like a BBA or BCom or MBA and all of these things, supply chain is a very great career for them because the principles are business management principles. Yeah.
Okay, so till now we have talked about what exactly is supply chain management, what are the different profiles, what exactly is the background requirements for these types of jobs. And now the next question that I want to ask you is that are there any particular skills that these types of jobs, this industry demands? Any technical skills or the skills in general? So what exactly can, as a candidate, we can expect from the industry?
100%, 100%. So the basic skills, like for example, when I graduated 10th, my mom told take science. I was like, no, 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 I'm taking commerce. And she asked me, why are you taking commerce? Because I'm scared of math. I don't like math. I don't like numbers. I hate numbers. And little that I know, supply chain is all about numbers. So right now, every single day, my life starts with spreadsheets and ends with spreadsheets. So every single thing what we do on spreadsheets, right? So obviously, your analytical skills are something which is very, very important as a overall supply chain, not just a particular category. Analytical skills are very important because it's a number-driven business. As a supply chain professional, what you're trying to accomplish is to drive the revenue to the company, cut the cost, and also save the working capital of the company. So you
Okay.
should be very good in numbers. If you're not good, you will learn over a period of time. But understand that if you come to supply chain management, you will be working with numbers, not complex numbers, but simple numbers. But numbers is something which you should be very aware of. So let's categorize a different department, different skill set. So purchasing.
Okay.
Purchasing is on the top of the supply chain. When I say top of the supply chain, obviously highly paid as well as highly reputed, a lot of jobs. People need people who make right purchasing decisions so that way the working capital is not stuck and the inventory is not wasted in the warehouse. So purchasing requires some purchasing principles, understanding about the categories, some numbers, some tools like Excel, analytical tools, and all of these things. And then maybe inventory management is also somewhere around that ballpark, understanding the cycle counts, the physical counts, and also different inventory management principles. And again, like the tools like Excel and all of it. And the logistics is the same. Transportation is the same thing. So if somebody want to really specialize in it, each individual subject has their own certifications. Once somebody takes it, I don't recommend anybody to take certification without even entering the market, They should enter, they should get a diploma or something like that from one of the community colleges here, get into a job. And once they get into a job, then realize, okay, inventory management is my passion. Okay, purchasing is my passion. Logistics is my passion. Or replenishment is my passion. Or transportation is my passion. And then they might kind of dig deep in and do a little bit more certifications and all of those things. To summarize, overall, everybody needs to know numbers, maybe a little bit of technical skills like Excel, Tableau, SQL, MS Access, all of these things. If they can know that and understand the fundamentals of supply chain by doing some linear.com courses or LinkedIn learning courses, they should be absolutely fine to get into these programs, get into these jobs.
And Arjun, most of the technical skills are clear to me, that whatever you have explained. But when you say that one should be good with numbers, so what exactly you mean? So is it like we should have a mindset in which we can, get comfortable with numbers, or is it something particular that you want? Like, is it some type of course that you want
Um,
us to know?
Again, that's a great question again, Sahil. Frankly speaking, when I was in school, I have no idea. Math is one of my biggest fear. Right now, I'm pretty comfortable with numbers. I'm not an expert in doing big calculations. And when I say somebody should be pretty comfortable in numbers, the only way you read your job on a daily basis is by looking at the numbers. You don't have to do complex problems and all of
Right,
those.
right, right.
You don't have to do any of those such things. It's simple addition, multiplication, subtraction, and all of division and percentages and whatnot. Simple
Oh,
mathematics.
I got it. Yeah.
But on a daily basis, the way you read your job, the way you
Mhm.
take your decisions is completely based on numbers. So think about numbers like you look at the sales, right? And you make a
Okay.
decision with the purchasing decision. What are
Right, right.
those numbers?
And Arjun, since you have mentioned a lot of departments, a lot of skills, so I want to know, like, are these skills taught in the college? So when we are in the college, so when you were in the college, did you know, like, these are the different types of profiles that comes under supply chain management, and these are the different types of skills that are being demanded by each of the, profile? So what exactly can we as a student expect from the college?
So colleges are good here. They do pretty decent job in terms of giving you that foundation which is required for you to move on to the next level or next steps in your career. What kind of skills college does provide? They absolutely give you that educational background which is required. For example, let's say I use a word called demand forecasting. Right? As a layman, you might not understand what is demand forecasting. The concept might be very simple. You have the potential and the capability to really do it and perform that activity. But until unless you have a little bit of a formal education towards demand forecasting, the concepts, it's very hard to understand. So what colleges does is it actually gives you a complete understanding towards these concepts. What is inventory management? What is organizational behavior, right? What is project management? Because supply chain management, if you take a supply chain management program in any of the community colleges here in Canada, they actually teach all of these things like business law, right? They teach you accounting, basic business accounting. They teach you transportation. They teach you purchasing. They teach you supply chain management. They teach you organizational behavior, customs, right? And all of these fundamental skills will be taught in the college. And in terms of technical skills, yes, they do also highlight some technical skills like, hey, you know what, Excel. We had a program called computers in Seneca College. So they actually taught us Excel, like pivot tables, VLOOKUPs, countif formulas, and all of these basic stuff. And then also they taught us a little bit of Tableau, a little bit of Power BI, introduction, not like too deep. At least if I go to an interview, if somebody asks me, hey, do you know what is Power BI? I know Power BI is there. And also technical skills, ERP system, which is very, very significantly kind of measured within the companies, which is SAP. SAP is an ERP system, which like Salesforce, right? If you have understanding towards Salesforce is more about managing the customer base, but ERP system is more of managing the inventory, the purchasing, and all of those things. So every company requires this ERP system, and SAP is the top ERP system. And some of the colleges here are providing that SAP program. And also, if you learn the fundamentals, you can apply in any other software. Like, let's say, for example, if you know how to deal with Salesforce, you know how to deal with the competitor of Salesforce. So same, if you know how to deal with SAP, you know how to deal with the competitor of SAP. And to wrap up, one of the major skill set other than this technical and foundation, people
Mhm.
skills and communicational skills will be the top two skills people look into, because supply chain is an team environment. You don't just work with your team, you work with marketing, merchandising, inventory management, logistics, transportation. No matter where you're planted, you are in logistics, you deal with all other teams. You're in purchasing, you deal with all other teams. You're in transportation, you deal with all other teams. So it is very important that your communications, written, oral, all of these communications are intact. And colleges might not teach you all these skills. That is something on you. You develop that soft skills and add to your technical and the subject skills and move forward.
And Arjun, while explaining, you mentioned about Seneca College, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, they will ask me that, okay, so Sahil, which colleges or which programs would you suggest? So since you are the expert of this industry, I would like to ask you, like, are there any particular colleges that you think are like good, where we should take the admit, or any particular programs that you would suggest to the audience?
That's again, a very important question, I would say, because according to me, colleges play a very significant role in an international student growth.
Mhm.
I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. Like, I actually came to a college called St. Lawrence, the first college. I don't know how to name it, but it came out. I just came in because I had no idea why I came in. It was not the right college. They were not giving me the right programs, and not the original campus. I'm talking about the Toronto campus. And I'm talking about 2014. I had no idea, but thank God I moved to Seneca College in the second program and took supply chain management. It changed my whole life, my perspective, the education, the environment, the multicultural. Like, I met different international students other than Indians in Seneca, right? Nothing wrong, but I learned a lot of things when I met different people. That's why I came to Canada, to meet other people, other diverse people and whatnot. So to name some of the colleges, obviously Seneca is the top college for supply chain management, and then has Humber, Georgetown, Centennial. Conestoga is also a very good program for supply chain management. St. Clair in Windsor is also having a good supply chain management program. There are a bunch of 5 to 6 top colleges. Try to get it in that like as much as possible. And unfortunately, let's say you don't get it, maybe don't take supply chain management. To come to Canada, take an international business management program as a 1 year program in some college. Might not give you all the value, but it will give you an entry
Mhm.
ticket to come to Canada. And the very next program, try to get into Seneca or Humber or Centennial or Conestoga, or there's another college called Loyalist College from Bellevue. There's another college, some familiar and good colleges like this, because I'm pretty sure that they do deliver some sort of value.
Mhm.
On the flip side, there are some colleges which are only meant for you to put in attendance, and you're not really, like, you're not obligated to study, you're not obligated to do your assignments. And if
Mhm.
you're planning to get educated and get into that kind of college like me, in the first program, you'll be very disappointed. So if I was you, I will still wait to get an admission into one of these good colleges, top 10 colleges within
Mhm.
Canada. And if I don't get it, I might take an IBM instead of supply chain management and come to the second level college, do a program, and then shift it to supply chain management in one of these colleges, because these colleges also provide a lot of tools which are very significant for you to move on.
I was about to ask you this question because generally students don't get a 2 year program. So our supply chain programs generally the 2 year program, and in case like it's 1 year program. So what other type of programs they can take so that the relevant experience can be added?
So again, that's a great question. So typically, most of these colleges I mentioned have 1 year program of supply chain management. Lambton College is also very pretty good college. I forgot to mention that it has a 2 year program within
Mhm.
co-op. I'm not a big fan of co-op because the college don't help you for co-op. You are on your own, and if you don't get the co-op in the COVID situation, it's so hard to get the co-op. If you don't get co-op, it is very hard. So I don't particularly recommend students to take a program with co-op. It's all like,
Mhm.
money making strategy for the colleges. But if somebody wants to take supply chain,
Mhm.
if they're taking a 1 year program and they have an objective of taking 2 year two programs because of the work permit thing, I recommend them to take IBM first and then supply chain management. The reason is very simple. Supply chain management is a little bit harder than international business management. Okay. And if somebody is coming as a new international student and getting into a tougher program in the very first thing, they don't get time to adjust, and they're like,
Right.
man, I've not got my part-time job. I have an exam tomorrow. There's a lot of ifs and buts in that particular period. So if I was you, if I'm looking for a 2-year program, I want to get into supply chain management, I will take international business management, the first program. It is simple, worth it. It's easy, gives you that access. I get there, I put my foundation, I get ready for myself. And the next program, I'm going to take supply chain management from one of these nice colleges. And I complete that supply chain management program. And then the moment I complete that, I have fresh knowledge. It'll be very easy for me to apply for jobs.
Is this industry open to the freshers? So as a new grad, what can the challenges that a new grad can face, and how they should prepare for the industry?
That's a great question. So in terms of how to prepare for an industry, like if they get into a course, I think that actually prepares them the fundamentals. But not just this, like for any new graduate who's looking for a job in Canada, typically the biggest challenge is lack of experience. That's the biggest challenge, Canadian experience, basically, right? Two ways you can tackle it. The first one is networking. How do you network? I can't tell that in 30 seconds video. You have to put in intentional effort to meeting people, understanding, learning about them, being selfless in terms of building relationship, and being a go-giver in terms of giving and sowing and whatnot. That's altogether a different topic. We can do a big video on just talking about how to network with people. The next question is getting some sort of relevant experience. Let's take supply chain management. I took a supply chain management program, or I have an ambition to take a supply chain management program. I'm in IBM right now, or in the supply chain management. Instead of working in an irrelevant industry like a call center or a pizza or an Domino's as a driver, I would rather work as an associate in a factory, right? Because it's logistics, right? Or maybe I would work as a part-time dispatcher in a trucking company. Or maybe I would work as an associate in Amazon warehouse, right? Maybe I would work as an associate in Walmart, No Frills, Loblaws. All these are retail companies where you work as an associate over there. You understand inventory management, customer service. All of these skills are very important. So when you are a student, when you're working all these things from past 2 years, you have developed that vocabulary, confidence. And when you have that Walmart, No Frills, Loblaws on your resume, Amazon as your resume, right after graduation, people do consider that you have some sort of Canadian experience. May not be high paying jobs, but at least you'll get a foot into the door. Maybe that $20 to $25 per hour job kind of a deal, you get into it. Work there for 6 months, work there for 1 year, build your career, like build your experience. And the moment you have that 6 months to 1 year of experience, the very next job would be much high paying, and you get into a full-time permanent role paying you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 and more.
Okay. And Arjun, I'm really loving this conversation and I'm learning a lot, but still we have time constraints. So I will ask you the last question. So I have seen a lot of people entering into this supply chain industry. So I want to ask, like, what is the potential of this industry in Canada? And is there any effect of ongoing pandemic on the jobs and this industry?
That's again, a very, very important question. Without supply chain, there is no world right now. Why it is growing in Canada is pretty simple, because in Canada, we don't grow anything. Every single thing, most of 90% of the stuff is coming from outside. So when products are coming from outside, supply chain professionals are needed. To put the food on the table, supply chain professionals are needed. There is more and more companies are recognizing that we need qualified professional supply chain professionals who would take care of our company, cut the bottom lines, and cut the cost at the bottom lines, and give profits to our bottom lines and the shareholders. So more and more companies are recognizing that we need supply chain. So it is a booming industry. So for example, a developer in an IT, how they're kind of respected because of high paying and whatnot. So next already supply chain is in that kind of an field. In next 5 years, supply chain in the business management would be that high paying jobs, or more career opportunities will be there. So it's a growing industry. If somebody's planning to get into supply chain, I can absolutely tell you this is one of the best times to get into it. It's in the early stages. You get in, you build your experience, because I have 5 years of experience in supply chain. in Canada. Let's say if I want to apply for jobs, I apply for job. If I use my resume and apply for a job, 95% of the time I get call back saying that you've been selected for the interview. 95%. I want to switch a job. I don't want to apply for 100 jobs. I apply for 10 jobs. I get like 8 interviews lined up. So there's a huge demand. There's a great shortage of talent. And if you are somebody who would like to enter into this industry, this is the best time to enter and make a mark for yourself.
Well, thanks a lot, Arjun, for your time. And these were all the questions that I have related to supply chain. And I would also like to tell audience that Arjun has done two more videos on the educational part as well as the professional part for the supply chain management on another channel called Immigrant. It's by Sagar. And those two videos are really helpful. And if someone wants to, get the next part of these videos, want to know more about the industry, they can definitely watch those two videos. And if they have any further question, they can comment down in the comment section, and me and Arjun will keep an eye on the comment section, and we'll try to clear all your doubts related to this industry.
Absolutely. And if anybody is within Canada and looking to venture into supply chain management, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and whatnot. I'll be more than happy to guide you guys.
I will drop your LinkedIn in the pinned comment down below. Thanks a
Awesome.
lot, Arjun.
Really appreciate it, Sahil.